Were Italy's performances in the group stage convincing? Why do the Italians sometimes tend to flop at big tournaments? Are Italy likely to do better in the knockout stages? And how are the verbs to outclass and outperform used? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Footglish Podcast. I am Zdenek Lucas. And if you love football and want to learn English, the Footglish Podcast is the right podcast for you. So make sure you subscribe to it. And today I'm joined by an Italian fan. We haven't talked about Italy here yet. So that's exactly what we need to do. Welcome to the podcast, Domenico. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you, Zdenek, and thanks for having me. And hi,
Yeah,
everybody, of course. Yeah.
it's a pleasure. It's a
Thank
pleasure,
you.
man. So, Italy,
Yeah.
um, not exactly an amazing group stage, I would say. But we also have to
No.
say that you had a really tough group. It was a group of death, right? With
Yeah.
Spain, Croatia, and Albania.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
you got the job done in the end.
Yeah.
Are you happy
In
with
the
that?
very end, I would say.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the first game against Albania, I think, apart from the goal, it was a bit unfortunate, of course. It was a good game. I mean, Italy played fairly well, especially during the first half. So I'm quite happy about how the way Italy played in the first match. The second one, we got absolutely destroyed by Spain, demolished, I would say. And thanks to Donnarumma, who is our amazing goalkeeper, we managed to to just lose 1-0. But I mean,
Yeah.
we were absolutely outclassed in that game, I would say. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, no, I watched that game, and Spain are generally one of the best teams of the tournament so far.
Yeah, I would say
So
so. I agree.
I think for your morale,
Yeah.
it was good that you only lost by one goal.
Yeah,
Actually, it didn't
exactly. Yeah.
in the end it didn't matter. What was more
It didn't matter.
important,
Yeah.
what was really important was the last game where you
Oh,
secured
yeah.
your
Yeah.
playoffs spot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In round of 16. Yeah, yeah, sure.
Hmm.
I mean, the game against Croatia, despite this thing that we just scored in the very last second, I would say. I mean, Italy played fairly well too. I think it was quite a balanced match, and then of course they scored, and they got a chance to go 2-0, and that would
That
have
was
killed
that
the
was the
game.
goal. Absolutely. That was
Yeah,
the goal by Luka Modric, of course. First, he missed the
exactly.
penalty, and
Missed
then
the
20 seconds.
penalty.
I was watching
Yeah,
the game, and then 20
yeah,
seconds later, he managed to score, and
to
all the
score.
neutrals absolutely loved it because who
Yeah,
doesn't love Luka Modric? He's such a popular
yeah,
player
exactly.
around the world.
Yeah,
And
he is.
then they were literally seconds away
Yeah,
from qualifying themselves, Croatia,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
they would have been on enough points,
yeah,
and you were in a unpredictable position because you had
yeah,
more points than Albania at that point, right?
yeah.
Uh, but
I mean, simply they would have they would have secured the second spot in the group, Croatia, so they would have advanced, and Italy, in hindsight, would have gone, would have not been able to participate in the round of 16 because with
yeah,
only 3 points, there are many teams who have secured the round of 16s, being, ending in the third spot with 4 points, and there's
yeah,
even
I,
Ukraine, which were they were very unfortunate because every team in that group has 4 points, and then because of the goal difference, blah blah blah, I don't know, like
yeah.
this complicated stuff. Romania is in first place, and Ukraine, I
Yeah,
mean, they're going
there
home
was a group. In this group, all teams were on 4 points,
on four
and
points exactly.
and
Yeah,
and it was only about the goal difference basically,
exactly,
because
exactly.
each of these teams
Yeah,
has a win, draw, and a defeat,
exactly.
and
The same thing.
you
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. I remember the same thing that this happened when Italy lost to Brazil in the World Cup final in 1994. In that
okay,
group, every team had exactly 4 points with one win, one loss, one draw, and then we managed to advance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Italy, despite not being the best team, I think that when they advance to the round of 16 stage and then quarterfinals and so on, they are very dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because you have
Yeah,
your system. You always have a system. You have a strategy and a very
yeah,
good defense. But I just want
yeah,
to go back to what you already pointed out. If you hadn't drawn that game against Croatia, you would have been on 3 points. And I
yeah.
was looking at the group of the best third places, right?
Uh-huh.
And you would have been in the fifth place,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. We would have been out, of course. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right behind Slovenia.
yeah,
Slovenia are the last third place team who made
mm-hmm.
it because
Exactly.
they have 3 draws. So
Uh-huh.
with 3 points on
Yeah,
a goal difference, they made it because
uh-huh.
Hungary are in the fifth place and they have -3.
Yeah, yeah,
So and
exactly. Yeah,
Croatia are in the sixth place. So it would
yeah,
have been you. It would have been you there in the fifth place.
yeah.
So
But here
so
we
you
are, tomorrow we are playing. So the
so yeah
past
so
doesn't exist in
abs-
in football.
Absolutely, but you escaped death in the last
Yeah,
minute,
absolutely.
basically.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, but I
Yeah,
mean, just what I just told you. I remember, like, historically, Italy either gets like eliminated in the group stages, or
yeah.
if they advance, they always. I mean, I don't want to say like always, but they very rarely, they often manage to advance, and I mean,
Hmm.
hopefully get to the finals. And I don't know.
So what would you
We,
attribute this to? Why is it like that? Why do you
yeah,
think
because
so?
I think that there is always a lot of pressure on the team, and then these players, they can perform, under pressure sometimes. It's kind of this
Yeah.
sense, like revenge. There are some characters like Mourinho, for example, who are like us against the world and stuff like this.
Yeah.
For example, when we won the World Cup in 1984, the situation was almost was tragic, politically. It was almost dramatic, and we managed to become world champions. And the same exact thing happened in 2006, when there was this doping scandals in Italy. So the team
Hmm.
was under a lot of pressure. Then we managed to escape. I don't know if you remember this, when Totti scored this penalty against Australia, and
Yeah.
then we almost went out of the competition, and then we won. 1994, the exact same thing. We were about to lose to twice, to Nigeria, and then Baggio, my favorite player of all times,
Roberto
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 Baggio.
Roberto Baggio. I
Absolutely.
remember he had a
Yeah,
ponytail. Yeah.
exactly. The il divin codino, so the divine ponytail. He
Hmm.
managed to score 2 goals, and we survived. And then we were beaten by Brazil, in the penalties, but we managed to reach the final. So I don't know why, but it's almost always like this.
Hmm.
People are skeptical at the beginning. There is a lot of criticism about
Yeah.
this team, but trust me, a lot of criticism in Italy. Oh, we are such a bad team, and stuff like this. But then when we advance, the country, is supporting the team, and things change.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
So
We there's a
hopefully,
the better
uh,
vibe is coming now. But I have to say, you're not the only sort of sleeping giant at the
yeah,
tournament that is underperforming, right? So we have to mention France and England. I think all these three teams, Italy, France, and England, are kind of in the same boat, yeah,
absolutely.
in terms of under par performances.
Absolutely. When I,
And and
when I talk with people about who's gonna be, the champions, and we are talking about, I mean, which team is better and which team is not. Not a lot of people mention France. I don't know why. And I absolutely agree with you. But for me, they are not a sleeping giant, because for me, they're just the best team. It's just a matter of if they want to play or not. I mean, if they
they
have
they
this.
Domenico, they only scored one goal
I
from a
know, I
penalty,
know,
and then
I
there was
know,
one own goal. They only have two
I know, I
goals
know. Yeah.
and one of them is an own goal. So like I'm not sure about them at the moment. And
But it's just, the
um,
groups. It's just like in NBA, there's the regular season, which is a competition, and then there's playoffs, which is another completely different beast,
th-
So I don't know
that's
why
right. That's
nobody's
right.
expecting France to perform well, but I think they are, I mean, among the favorites, of course. Now I think they
Abs-
are playing Belgium, right?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Probably. Yeah.
let's see.
Hmm.
So they have this like tough match. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're playing Belgium, which is gonna be maybe the best match in round of 16, the most balanced one, the most
Yeah.
interesting one. But if they manage to win that match, which I think they will, honestly, I mean France is gonna advance, in my opinion. I think they
Hmm.
are. I mean, they can win the whole thing, no problem.
I also have to
And
mention, Domenico, that your path, your route to the final in the round of 16 seems to be the easier one, right?
exactly, this is yeah.
That's exactly what they say in England, the
Yeah,
media in the
yeah,
UK. They say exactly the same thing because the toughest, the
yeah,
two, arguably the two biggest names in your
yeah,
path
yeah.
are you and England. So
England, exactly.
and
Yeah,
then you have so potentially, so you're playing against Switzerland on Saturday. So
yeah,
potentially, if you win that game, yeah, then potentially
yeah,
you might play England. And if you beat
yeah,
England,
exactly.
it would probably be someone like the Netherlands in the semifinal. And
Uh-huh.
then Bob's your uncle. You are in the final. So
Yeah, true. Yeah, this is another thing which is very, funny because there are a lot of memes in Italy right now about this thing of being that we are lucky. We have been lucky against Croatia. And we are lucky that we have this like favorable draw, we can say.
yeah, yeah.
But in this kind of events, you never know. It's true that we are facing Switzerland, but Switzerland is actually, we can say it's a better team than we are right now. But I
Yeah.
think I am very confident that we can manage to win because we have something more than they do in this kind of games. I think like
I
historically
would
and
be I would you are right. I agree. Sometimes it's down to history and this
yeah,
kind of vibe and energy, right, from the fans
yeah,
and
yeah,
self confidence. But I think the Swiss are
exactly.
no mugs. You should not underestimate the Swiss because, for example,
Absolutely, absolutely.
in the previous Euro, they beat
Yeah,
Spain on
yeah,
penalties. Remember,
yeah,
I believe
yeah,
it was when
yeah.
Spain were no, sorry, it was it France,
France, I
right?
think France, right? Yeah. They beat
Yeah.
France. Yeah,
And I think they were 3-1 up or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
And then they
yeah,
managed to equalize and they won it on
yeah.
penalties. So I would be
Yeah,
very
they're a
careful
good
about this
team. Yeah,
about the
they're a good
Swiss.
team for sure.
And
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and they play their last match of the group stage against Germany. And
Germany.
I did not see that game, but from what I
Yeah.
heard, they were the
Mhm.
better team. Uh,
Yeah. Me neither. Yeah,
so
Germany just
yeah,
scored in the final minutes, right? And they could draw that match, and then Switzerland was even winning. Yeah. But it's true. But as I told you, for me, groups and round of 16 are,
yeah.
it's a different story.
Okay, so what's your
Yeah.
prediction then? What's your
I think
score
Italy is gonna
prediction?
advance. I
What
think Italy is gonna advance, and maybe in extra time.
in extra time?
It's
Okay,
gonna
so
be
no,
a tough match. Maybe 1-1. Let's see if I can get this right. It's just a prediction, of course, very tough. So I would say 1-1, and then we advance and we scored the 2-1
mhm.
in extra times, and we advance to quarterfinals, hopefully.
So, sounds like a
Yeah.
plan. Well, we should say we
Yeah, sounds like a plan to me.
you are the current holders, so
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
of
defending
course that
champs. Yeah, yeah,
defending champions that has to count for something, right? So 3 years ago
yeah.
you beat. We need to remind everyone you beat England on penalties. So
Oh.
let's see if
In
that.
England, this is the most important thing. We beat England
Yeah,
in England. So yeah,
they absolutely hated it. They absolutely
yeah.
hated it.
I
I can
know,
I
I
can
know, I
I
know.
can tell you I can tell you that.
Yeah. The funniest meme I've seen about this Italy, I mean, which is not amazing and stuff, is I don't know if you remember the Stephen Bradbury guy who won the Olympic gold in, like, it was skating maybe, So everybody in front of him just just
Yeah.
fell down, and then he
It
won the
was
whole thing.
it
And
was
that's a
speed.
meme about Italy doing the same thing, so
Yeah.
everybody, falling
It was
down in Italy, maybe.
speed skating and
Yeah,
the
speed skating, maybe. Yeah,
short track.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
It
remember
was
that. It was
amazing. Yeah,
in
yeah,
at
yeah,
Winter
yeah.
Olympic Games. Yeah. Well,
Exactly,
we will
exactly.
see what
Yeah,
happens. We will see what
we
happens.
will see.
You have a well balanced team, I would say. I guess. Or your defense, as usual, your Catenaccio, right? The goalkeeper is Donnarumma
The
an
goalkeeper
amazing.
is the
Is
maybe it's the
amazing.
best, yeah, the best goalkeeper
Yeah,
of this
your
competition. Yeah, 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 yeah.
your goalkeeping school is really good because before you had Buffon, now
Yeah.
Donnarumma,
Zoff.
and
Yeah,
so it's really about your offense because that seems to be your
yeah,
weakness at this point. So
exactly.
why do
Yeah.
you think that's the case?
It's very, I don't know if it's very tough to explain because historically we've had, golden generations, with Inzaghi, Totti, Del Piero, Baggio, of course, long time ago. I don't know why, but in the last decades, we could say,
Yeah.
because I think we haven't had a decent striker in decades, honestly. No offense
Mhm.
to,
Gianluca
Immobile.
Scamacca. Gianluca
Ska-
Scamacca now.
Scamacca is very young, but I think it's very talented.
Mhm.
So I think he's a better player than Immobile, for example. For me, I know this is not a very popular opinion, but he can
Mhm.
play with the team much better than
Mhm.
Immobile could do. So I'm very confident in what he can do, and he had a great season this year with Atalanta
That's right.
Bergamo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm very confident. He's no Totti, of course.
Mhm.
He's no even Gilardino. Nothing compares with these guys. But I think
He can do the job.
he could do the job exactly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I'm very confident about how Chiesa can perform. I think there are a lot of players who can do very well when stakes are high. So for
Mhm.
example, I
Well,
can mention, yeah, yeah,
well, the
yeah,
stakes are
Chiesa.
definitely high.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. I wish you all the
Yeah.
best, Domenico.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope you make it through, and
Yeah.
we will see what happens next. And
Sure.
yeah, you have already outperformed the Czech Republic, so congratulations. That wasn't very hard. That wasn't very hard
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah. Yeah, but you had a tough group, yeah, honestly. Yeah, the first
No,
game was
no,
good,
no.
but then yeah,
Yours was harder. Yours was harder. We
yeah.
messed up. We messed up royally. So
Okay.
yeah, anyway, that's not what we were here to talk about. We were here to
Yeah.
talk about the Italian team. Thank you for
Uh-huh.
telling me about your team, Domenico, and all the best to you.
Thank you for having me, Zdenek.
It was a pleasure. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye. See you. Bye.
Welcome back. In this part of the show, as always, I will be teaching you something because, as you know, I'm an English teacher. I have to do my job, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. So Domenico said we were absolutely outclassed in that game. Remember, he was talking about the Italy-Spain game where Spain won 1-0, but they absolutely dominated Italy. So when you say that your team was outclassed, that means that the other team performed much better than you. It means that the other team did much better than you. It means that the other team was superior to you, okay? But it's a very nice little verb to use there. And similarly to that, at the end of the podcast, I said, you've already outperformed the Czech Republic. I was referring to Italy. I was saying that Italy made it to the knockout stages, whereas the Czech Republic, unfortunately, are going home because we finished last in our group. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that anymore because, you don't want me to get mad on this podcast again as I did in the previous episode, do you? Or is that something that you actually enjoy? I wonder. Anyway, let me repeat the sentence because now we have all forgotten what it was. You've already outperformed the Czech Republic, right? So I was referring to the fact that Italy are still in the tournament, whereas the Czech Republic isn't. To outperform someone again means the same thing pretty much as to outclass someone. It means to perform better than someone else, to do better than someone else. I think outclass is more about the skill, if someone has class, it's like skill. you were outclassed, right? So the skill of the Spanish team was so much better than the Italian team. Whereas to outperform is about the overall performance. But more or less, these words mean the same thing. And there are more verbs which start with out in English. You could outdo someone. You could outrun someone. There are more verbs like that. And they all have pretty much a similar meaning that someone is superior to someone else. Someone does better than someone else. Okay, guys, I hope you are finding these language corners useful. I hope you always learn something from me. And if you do, why don't you help me in return? And there are several ways you can help me. First of all, you can share this podcast with your friends, husband, wife, lovers, your cats, your dogs. I don't know, whoever might want to listen to this podcast. Why don't you tell them? Another way, of course, could be that you subscribe to the podcast and make sure that it's always in your podcasting app. And you can also go to Apple Podcasts and leave me a review. Why not? Why not leave me a review? Okay, thank you very much for listening, and I will definitely speak to you soon. Until next time, cheers. Bye-bye.